Welcome to this segment of the Deliverance Network, and I'm going to share with you in this segment a profound message from God the Father, as well as a highlight again to the spiritual warfare of our times and the very, very important need to stay aligned with God, close to Mary, and strong in our faith for times that are coming. And it's also going to share a little bit of an inside glimpse God gave me about different subsets of humanity and different stages different parts of humanity are at, and how prepared they are for times that are here and times that are coming. I'm going to share a dream experience with you from February the 17th, 2009, and it was a very specific dream that God showed me regarding humanity and the varying states of different subsets of humanity and how prepared they are for a time coming where a sign is to arise. And the sign is in the east in this dream experience. And as the dream unfolded, it began with me coming to the top of the basement stairs of my home. I opened the door to go down, but there was so much dirty laundry and refuse I couldn't even pass through. And I was passing through basically what was other people's dirty laundry. And I was set to help clean up other people's dirty laundry. And of course the saying dirty laundry has to do with the state of sin and being in the state of various sins, people's dirty laundry. And as I saw this, I was shown a flash scene that had to do with religion and the church in the world now and its stages with relation to 4 different sets of people, humanity. And it was literally laid out like a chart for me, and it had different sections. And the first was the subset or group of persons of humanity, and then there was a question posed to each subset. And the first question was, do I go to church at all? The answer to that question. Question number 2, do I even think about these things? Religion, etc. And then it was shown to me with the various subsets, the state of those people and how prepared they would be for a sign that was to come, that sign coming in the east. And the first set of the 4 was literally labeled the beer and pizza set. And now I don't mean to denigrate anyone's love of beer and pizza. I personally love wine with my pizza, but it had more to do with the fact that that's kind of just where you're living, and it doesn't go any deeper than that. And it was shown then in the subset where the first question was, do I go to church at all? It showed the man completely asleep. And of course that sleep has to do with spiritually asleep, being completely spiritually unawake. And then shown that they were sound asleep when it came to the second question, do I even think about these things, religion? And then it showed then that they were subsequently completely 100% unprepared for the sign that is to come. And then in the middle of this chart there were 2 subset further groups of humanity, sort of like more middle ground, average person, and I was shown nothing to do with them at all. And so I have no information I can give you about the middle ground, but I was shown the 4th set. And I think this is, obviously I work quite a bit in the field of deliverance and warning and the heavier spiritual warfare. So that 4th subset showed me those involved in witchcraft and those following the occult. And this subset I was shown was the most astray of all of humanity. And of course that seems to be a no-brainer. They were the most astray and the most unprepared for the sign, and it was a future event that was to arise. And I saw that humanity in this whole dream experience was at a certain stage. And as I looked, I saw the sign that was going to come, and it was going to come in the east, and it's coming quite soon. And so people have to actually try their very, very best to wake up and consider the spiritual life. We can no longer afford to be spiritually asleep. I'm going to share with you a very, very short dream experience. It's one of my early ones from 2003, so part of the very, very initial stages of my very profound, deep spiritual journey. And it was literally one sentence that was dictated me, and that was it. That was the dream. But again, it lends that credence to our belief in Jesus present in the Eucharist, fully present body and blood. So I wanted to just reiterate that, because as we go into some more difficult times in the church and in the world, there will be a temptation for many to step away from their faith, lose their faith, deny their faith. And we must absolutely stick firm with our faith. We are not to step away, not to run away, because the firm place of safety is in our faith, and the Catholic Church especially, I believe, has that fullness of the faith and protection for these times. And literally a male voice said to me in this dream experience from April the 3rd, 2003, and I quote verbatim, "I am alive in the blood and the host, Peter." And in this point, the Peter was directed to me, being Peter. And he said, "You," meaning Peter, "will rest in my hands for 3 days." And I can't say I totally understand the second part of that dream experience message, that I will rest in his hands for 3 days. But resting in his hands is definitely the safe place to be. But that testimony again, that he has said in this dream experience, "I am alive in the blood and the host, Peter." Of course, Peter represents the rock, the church, our faith. And we are to be like Peter. We are the body of Christ. And so we are to stand like Peter with the rock, and that is the sure place of safety for times to come. The reason I'm going to be bringing this dream experience to you in this segment is because it has to do with the power that we have in spiritual warfare. And this is a very, very important part of my entire testimony, is that we have great power against the forces of darkness. We are not to fear them, because we actually have greater power over them, even though it might seem otherwise. And this is a dream experience from Christmas 2009. I did not record the exact date for this one, unfortunately. But I dreamt that I was in my maternal grandmother's home, and it was in the area of Westboro. And as I was seated, I saw Satan sitting directly across from me. He was seated in a chair in this dream experience. And he was harassing me as usual, because boy, has he been harassing me and attacking violently over the years. And obviously he has not been able to stop, though he has tried, my path. And I was not intimidated by him in this experience, because I've been 9 years into the spiritual journey, learning how to defend myself more virulently against him. And I knew well the power that I had over him, and that we all have over him when we are aligned with God, and especially that power of the Rosary and Mary. And so I raised my arms facing him, and I was slightly bent at the elbows, and I had my palms and my forearms facing him, and I began to recite the Rosary. That is the weapon par excellence for our times. And immediately my arms, my forearms, and my hands burned forth, and I was shown this in the spiritual realm, burned forth power against him as I recited. And he could do nothing, not move. He could not move from the chair that he sat in. And then in the dream experience, I asked Mary to bind Satan. And though I did not see Mary in this particular dream, Satan then became bound around the middle with some kind of a cord, which restricted him and his power completely. And then he and his chair began to levitate off the floor and rise into the air in the room. Don't ask me why. But this is the essence that I would like to share with you today, is that the Rosary has been known as that cord that binds Satan, and I only heard of that recently. And we have great power with our Rosary, so I urge everyone to pick them up and start praying them more forcefully, because the times greatly demand it. Well, this next dream experience from January the 9th, 2008, again illustrates the spiritual battle. And I've been so blessed to have been given so many inside glimpses of what we normally do not see. We may feel the manifestations by circumstances that come up in our lives that are often difficult or distracting, or temptations to sin, or outright attack because people don't understand us or don't like our spiritual journey. But I'm actually been given the inside glimpses of the work of these evil spirits in trying to take us down through a variety of means, because they're always trying. The good news is that they do not succeed, because if you are allied with God, you are in the safest place. And this dream experience was set again and in my maternal grandmother's house. And I really wonder about the symbolism of dreams. So I started pondering, why are these dreams of spiritual warfare and the power that I have, and we all have, against Satan and demons, so tied to my maternal grandmother's house? And then I realized there's some symbolism there with the maternal grandmother being Mary. And Mary, of course, has great power to crush the demons. And so in this dream experience, I was sitting beside a fire, and it was still burning, but the fire was low. And I really liken that to the fire of our faith and the witness and the prayer that is arising from the earth in this time. Because of course the Catholic faith has been quite attacked itself over the years, and our churches and our faith and our population are struggling because of circumstances in the church and the world right now. So the fire was burning a little low in the hearth. And then I saw a demon come in the room, and it came opposite to me, and it smashed the fire. So it was trying to put the fire out. And of course, this is what is going on with regard to the attack in our church and towards our church. And the demon was trying to scatter the fire and put it out. And this is, of course, very, very poignant with the difficulties we're finding in the church today. And coals started being scattered all over the living room floor. But then I jumped to my feet, alert and ready, because I saw this, and I started to gather up the coals and push them back together, push them into the fire to keep the fire going. And I tended to the fire and just chased this demon off, and it retreated immediately, and it went to the opposite side of the room. And I saw that I was then reciting powerful prayers against this demon, and I was full battle aggressive mode. And that is the mode God has called me to be in, particularly, but we all have to be in the spiritual battle. The Ephesians reading, of course, put on the battle of righteousness and the plate of righteousness, because we are in a spiritual battle, and we must never forget that. And we must be always at the ready to pick up our sword, to have our defenses ready, and to be forceful with our prayer. And so as I was saying prayers, the demon tried to change forms and come at me in different manner, but it could not harm me, because I was so at the ready in the defense with prayer and my alignment with the church and just the belief in Jesus and my profound faith and trust in God. So I urge all of you to keep strong in the faith. Do not lose heart, even though you do not see the result of the actions of your prayer. It is very powerful. It's very powerful in spiritual warfare. You have nothing to fear, because you actually, with God, have all the power itself to overcome all evil.